Okay, today we're going to make a very simple recipe for baking powder biscuits. This recipe is real easy to remember because it goes 2 cups of flour, 4 teaspoons of baking soda, and 6 tablespoons of shortening. So we start with just all-purpose flour. 2 cups. Okay, then we're going to use baking powder, and you want to make sure that this stuff is fresh, because if it's not, if like an old package up in the cupboard, it's not, the biscuits aren't going to raise up nice. They won't rise up nice. So 4 of those, 4 teaspoons of the baking powder. Then the next thing we want is fat. Now you can use lard or any kind of shortening. I use this Smart Balance stuff just because it's got a lot of polyunsaturated and monosaturated fats. It's, I tend to think that maybe it's a little better for me than the lard. What I'm going to do before I put the fat in, I'm going to add just about a little more than a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to kind of sift these ingredients together with the pastry knife here, so that the baking powder and the salt is evenly distributed. I suppose I could sift it, but this works too. Alright, so now let's get, we need 6 of these, 6 tablespoons. There's 1. Use a knife to get them out of there. 1, 2. This is an old recipe that came down. One my mother used. I think she got it from her mother. And it works good for, we use this for chicken a la king, turkey a la king, and especially for strawberry shortcake. Now there's 5. As 8, I guess the oven's up to temperature. I preheated the oven to 425 degrees. So that when I'm done with this, I can put them right in the oven. Now that's 6 tablespoons. As I was saying, you can use this for strawberry shortcake. You could even add some cheese to it, make it cheesy. You could add a little more sugar, make it a little sweeter. Once we have the fat in here, now we use this tool here. It's a pastry blender, and we're just going to blend the shortening into the flour. And it's a little dusty and a little messy, but I think there's a way to do this using one of the food processors. You can use like maybe the dough knife or something. It's just, to me, it's more trouble to get the food processor out and load all stuff into it, and then I gotta clean the whole stupid thing up. So this works pretty good. You know, I have a couple of utensils to clean, and it's fun anyway. So we keep mixing this down. I want to get it kind of granulated, so it's like small pieces of fat, but I don't want to work it too much because the little pieces of fat in there, what are going to make them flaky. That just about does it. Now the idea now is we got to add milk, and for this recipe it's about 1/3 of a cup to 3/4 of a cup of milk. Just enough so it's just wet. We don't want it sloppy. The drier it is, and the quicker I mix this, the more tender they'll be. So we add a little bit of milk, and I use skim milk. You can use whatever you want. Some people won't have it. Personally, for cooking, it works just as well. Now, a little more. When I'm adding milk to this, I want to do it in very small increments, because the difference of a teaspoon of milk make a big difference in how nice and high the biscuits are. There. And we just keep mixing it around here. See, it's starting to pull itself together. It's picking up all the crumbs on the outside of the bowl, And it looks like we just need just a smidgen more milk. Just a smidgen more. This is a critical stage here where we could add too much milk and they'll be sloppy. I mean, they'll still be edible, but they're not going to be as nice as if they don't start to pick up all the crumbs around the outside of the bowl. And the dough is just sort of starting to hold together like that. And that's about right. That's just wet enough. We don't need to make it any wetter than that. Now we're going to turn it into biscuits. So just take a little flour on a board like that. Then we're going to a little flour on my hands. Just try not to handle it too much. Now I could use this rolling pin, I suppose, but work quick. Just use your hands. Want it about 1/2 through 3/4 of an inch. Found this thing in an old rummage sale. It works perfect. Okay, now when you're cutting these, straight down. Don't twist. Straight down. Something about if you twist it, I've found that if I were to twist like that, then which is kind of it's almost normal to want to do that. If you twist it, for some reason or other, they don't rise up as high. And we just gather the other pieces together just quickly. You don't want to handle it too much. They don't have to be beautiful. When they come out, they're going to look nice. Right now, so we just quickly just work with the dough. And so that last bunch there, I'm going to just put it inside here. Press it down like that. There's one. Okay, so there's that. So it looks like 8 baking powder biscuits. Now the oven's at 425 degrees. I'm going to put these in here for about 8 minutes and then we'll see how it goes from there. Now that the biscuits are done, I set them out to cool. These came out really nice. Look at the way they're brown on the bottom and then they're slightly brown on the top. That's how you know they're done. They puff up nice and tall and they seem to get a natural split in the middle where you can just sort of take them apart. And as I said, they're good with, these are terrific with strawberry shortcake. It's a simple recipe. 2 cups of flour, 4 teaspoons of fresh baking soda powder, not soda but powder, 6 tablespoons of some kind of a fat, and then a little bit of salt and a little bit of milk. You can make them without salt if you're on a salt restrictive diet. Because you're making these at home, you know what's in them, and they're going to be cheaper than if you went to the store, and you're going to like them a lot better. This recipe is available at nnynow.com in the Eat section, and we look forward to seeing you again.